What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to cover two features in the Nova Chess app that you can use to analyze and review your openings. First one is the Opening Explorer, which is in the Openings tab on the left sidebar. This has a unique feature, which is the position assessment over on the right here. So it's got a unique assessment. You can see it updates with every move, and it will have a unique one for over 3,500 different opening positions, including every named variation from the Encyclopedia of Chess Openings. I built this with LLM as well as analysis on Stockfish at depth 30 and supplemented by online research. So it should be pretty thorough and also built upon the actual continuations in Stockfish evals. So let's just take a look and see how it works. E4, E5, knight F3. So we can see that white has played the king's knight opening. Strategic ideas include flexibility, central control, development priority. And then for white, it has a few plans listed. So bishop E5 will be the Spanish opening, bishop C4 for the Italian. These come after black plays knight C6 to defend the pawn on E5. So we can see here what some of the key decisions are and practical advice. So this is a very common, maybe the most common opening position after both sides have played two moves. So let's go with bishop c4, which is a common move in both master play as well as amateur games. We've got the pre-calculated eval here. If we want to get an actual Stockfish eval, you can just click Run Stockfish. It'll also show the best lines here. Now, black has a few options in this position after bishop c4, either to develop the kingside bishop, so bishop c5 or bishop e7. So bishop c5 would be the Joko piano, or you could do the two knights defense, which is knight f6. Now you've got white to move, so standard would be to play the d3 line, which is a quiet line. Also potentially castle or play c3, knight c3. In beginner and intermediate games, you'll see a lot of knight g5. It's certainly playable at top level. You can see here, this has occurred numerous times in the database just last year. This is the two knights defense. So you're putting pressure on f7. So you can read the position assessment to understand like what are some of the themes in this position, and then the typical plans for each side. So most commonly in this position, you'll see d5 from black. It's almost 98% of games. One that's gotten more popular, I think, due to some content creators, is the Traxler. So that's bishop c5. That actually just gives up the pawn on f7 with no immediate compensation. And then you can read about the ideas here. So mutual king vulnerability, both f7 and f2 are under attack. It's really sharp. It's not great for black objectively, but in quick games, if you're well prepared, then you can really use this as a weapon, especially in intermediate or beginner level play. So yeah, you see the key decisions here. White's critical moment comes after bishop takes f7, king e7. What do you do with the bishop? So there's a few choices, and then it can go various ways, but really, black's down a pawn, has the king exposed. However, there is definitely a lot of compensation here. There's a lot of pressure on f2, especially with knight g4 incoming. So I think, by doing, playing out your moves, taking a close look at what the popular continuations are, what the Stockfish analysis is, and then just reading through the position assessment will tell you the different plans and ideas for both sides, and that will help you not only know what the moves are, but also get more of a fundamental understanding of the objectives of that opening. Okay, the other tool I want to show you is the opening performance, which is under player assessment. So if you go to player assessment, it will start with the profile tab. Just click over to opening performance tab, and this will have a breakdown of your different games. And to make sure your games are in here, you can just go to the game library. So I'll just click over to game library. You can do manage collections if you already have games in here, so it will show all my games. Opening collections are populated automatically based on the openings played in those games. If you want to import games, you can do it file upload, most likely from chess.com or Lichess. So got your username here. You can do either platform. You can select time controls or the date range, apply filters, and then you can, these are all selected by default. You can check whichever ones you want in there, and then either create a new collection or just add them to one of your existing collections. It should remove duplicates if you already have a collection with some of the same games. Then just hit confirm, and then it will populate these stats. Okay, so here, these are my games as white. These are my games as black. If I want to focus on, I guess, an opening where I don't do as well, Sicilian defense closed variation. We've got the score here. When I click this, I'd already actually clicked this while I was on the tab. It would take 30 to 60 seconds when you click review opening, because it will run Stockfish for all the games, and it will look at the first 10 moves from each side and identify any mistakes. Also, it has these metrics here that might be helpful for you. You can see on average I'm making 2.1 errors in the first 10 moves per game, so might be a little high. You can see them classified. Most of them are just inaccuracies, but also some mistakes and blunders mixed in there. There's a repeated error, so in a couple games I was playing g6 when queen b6 was better. I can also use this alongside the opening explorer. So if I go back here, I can flip the board, do it from black perspective. So the closed variation of Sicilian, knight c3. Not sure about the move order here, if it's knight c6, but ends up being a fianchetto structure. I think the popular continuations don't show up because I did a different weird order than the masters would play. But yeah, you can see here what some of the ideas are. So for black, play a g6, bishop g7. If I want to run Stockfish here, it's white's move. So I think in that position there was knight ge2, and then you can see here that all these moves, d6, queen c7, knight f6, queen b6 are pretty reasonable. I played g6 in that position, not a big mistake, but not one of the top moves. All these options are pretty similar, but there's a couple different setups I could go for. The fianchetto version, e6 with knight ge7, and then you're looking to expand on the queen side, especially if your bishop is on this diagonal. You're going to play your rook here, push the b pawn, and try to defend as necessary on the king side where white is likely to attack. You can see, they might want to play h4, h5 against the fianchetto setup. F4 if they want to be aggressive and attack early. Okay, so these are the two opening related features in the Nova Chess app. I use them both myself when I review my games, especially for beginner, intermediate players who are looking to really just understand the fundamental ideas. I like how the position assessments have the plans explained in words. Again, you can combine this with using the opening performance, where you can find your own games, find where you're making mistakes very easily. You can look at 20 games at a time rather than just clicking through one by one. So hope this is helpful and interesting, and please let me know in the comments if you have any feedback.